You know, we're all in some kind of race for recognition, aren't we? But what if we're running on the wrong track entirely? Today, we're going to dig into this huge difference between just chasing fame and the journey toward becoming perfected.
All right, so let's dive right in. First, let's talk about a race that it seems like almost everyone is running these days.
I mean, seriously, this question feels like it defines our entire generation, right? This obsession with fame, with getting your name out there, with getting that public praise. It is absolutely everywhere you look.
And that really gets to the heart of it. For so many people, the biggest prize you can win is just to be known, to be celebrated by the crowds. It's a motivation that is incredibly powerful, and it's everywhere. And there's a reason this path is so crowded. According to our source material, going after wealth and status and fame, it can feel like the most direct route to success. It just looks like the easiest, most straightforward path you can take.
But this is where things get really interesting. The source presents us with a totally different option, a powerful alternative to this whole race for fame. It's like a completely different track to run on.
So, the first path is called prasedi, and this is pretty much what it sounds like, the pursuit of worldly fame. It is all about what's on the outside, external validation, what other people think of you, the praise you get, the success that everyone can see.
And then you have the alternative, siddhith. This path is all about what's on the inside. It's about inner integrity, about perfecting your own character. It has nothing to do with who's watching. It's about building up righteousness and excellence just for their own sake. And just look at this breakdown. It lays out the difference perfectly. The path of fame, prasida, the goal is praise from people. But on the path of integrity, siddha, the goal is a clear conscience. And notice the huge contrast in difficulty and what happens in the end. One is pretty easy, but gets you praise that disappears, while the other is extremely hard and, get this, might even lead to people rejecting you. So here's the crucial takeaway from all of this. You have to choose. The source makes it really clear you can't run in both of these races at the same time. If you're chasing praise, you're giving up the reward of integrity. And if you put integrity first, you kind of have to let go of the chase for fame. Okay, so let's see how this all builds to something really fascinating, a kind of paradox, actually. And this right here is the central paradox. The person who runs the race for integrity, they aren't even looking for fame. But in this incredible twist, true, lasting fame is often given to them as the ultimate reward. It ends up being a byproduct, not the actual goal. Now, to really see how this works in the real world, the source gives us a really powerful case study. If you look at Joseph's journey, you see this exact pattern. First, his commitment was to being Sid, to perfecting his character. But that choice actually led him into some unbelievable hardship and obscurity. But, and this is the key, in the end, it was that exact same unwavering integrity that resulted in this powerful, enduring legacy. He became famous, or prasidh, because he was so focused on being perfected, or Sid. But there's a flip side to this, a bit of a cautionary tale. The source also shows how easy it is to get pulled off that path of integrity. I mean, just take the example of King David. Here was a famous, powerful ruler, but for a moment, he shifted his focus away from integrity and toward a selfish, worldly desire. And that one moment of distraction, it led to absolutely devastating personal consequences. It's a pretty stark reminder of how fragile that commitment can be. And let's be super clear on this key point the source makes. Success, wealth, status, these things aren't automatically evil. The problem starts when your heart gets attached to them. When you start serving them instead of serving your principles, that's when they become a problem. And that's because worldly fame is just, it's unreliable. It's fickle. It depends entirely on pleasing a crowd that's always changing its mind, and it can vanish the second you're gone. There's this great story in the source about a king whose dog died, and the whole community mourned. But when the king himself died shortly after, almost nobody showed up. It just goes to show you how conditional that kind of worldly praise really is. So all of this brings us right back to a really fundamental choice, not just about what we want to achieve, but about the very foundation of the life we're trying to build. And here is the ultimate payoff, the fame that comes from true character, from being Sid. That fame is permanent. It's a kind of renown that no one and nothing can ever take away from you. Just think back to Joseph for a second. We are still talking about him
hundreds and hundreds of years later. That proves it, right? A legacy that's built on a foundation of integrity is the only kind that really lasts through time. So, why does any of this matter to you and me today? Well, because it basically holds up a mirror to our own lives. It pushes us to stop and really ask ourselves, what's driving me? What's the true nature of my ambition?
Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. The recognition you're chasing, is it the fleeting kind, totally dependent on other people? Or are you building something much deeper, something that's actually eternal?